Hi there, this is Stephen Graves from Decrypt. I am joined by Eowyn Chen from Trust Wallet. Eowyn, how are you doing?
Great to be here, Stephen. Thank you for having me.
So the big news of the day is that Trust Wallet is integrating prediction markets with Myriad. Could you tell us what that's going to look like and why you've decided on Myriad as your first integration?
Yeah, so the integration will be very, very simple that any of the users, that are Trust Wallet users, can just go to our app, go into the swap section, and then they will see a prediction tab. And then going in there, they don't need to jump out anywhere. They can see all the markets that Myriad and the partners are provided, and then directly take a position, yes or no, or a certain stance, and then wait for the events to come into its conclusion resolution time, and then get the results. So the whole idea about why we're doing this is that the digital expressions has been evolving. And prediction market is not a new thing. It has been there in the market for more than 2 decades. Why now is because I think a few years ago started from Polymarket. We see how this can be used on chain and having a much more prominent ownership of the stance. And then it plays out with the world's events, no matter that's sports, that's elections. There are certain major things happening around the world that people wanted to have more than just the saying to express what they stand on, but also using their assets and making a vote to have the impact on the results of those events. It's definitely growing in the bigger theme of the digital economy. And crypto and blockchain has a lot of benefits to play into that, to allow that experiences to be smooth, fast, globally accessible, and engaged with everybody else in the world to see what their positions are. So given our global user base and also given our presence on chain with so many retail users, our job is to make sure that how can we be a good platform to give people the opportunities as new, interesting, exciting things coming along and that they can explore.
And why specifically Myriad? I mean, I should point out at this point that Myriad is owned and launched by Decrypt's parent company, Dastan. But what drew you guys to them as your first prediction market partner?
I think the first touch point was actually in September, October-ish. It was the BNB seasons. And we hosted a BNB season AMA with CZ on X. And Myriad founders also are part of it. And it was a very passionate questions and engagements on how, as an industry and the BNB ecosystem, are looking at prediction market. So that was a very favorable impression. To be frank, we're exploring with all the different kind of partners, having conversations out there. But we do find Myriad to have one of the fastest and most mature, readily available way to for a partner like us to integrate. So it was very straightforward. We would love to move fast, and Myriad is a great partner to move faster with. And of course, on our favorite BNB chain ecosystems. So that's why Myriad is the first. And we're very excited about that as well. And another thing I think will be very important, and I'm quite bullish on, is that I think ultimately prediction market is not about the tech. It's about what's the content, like what are the positions, what are the views, what are the events that people find interesting and wants to engage with. As if this is more of a content based, media based reach and understanding of society, of people, of narratives, of attention, will be providing some of the unique value proposition or even competitive advantage to give the most interesting events that people wanted to engage with. So that's also another angle. I think Myriad, with arms like Decrypt and with a reach in the industry and beyond, can potentially be a really good events content provider to allow global users to be excited to engage with.
So, what is the prediction market integration with Trust Wallet going to look like from the user's perspective, and how can they get started?
Yeah, just I think starting from this week, then the users can just go into the app, go to the swap section, and look at the prediction tabs, and tap, engage with whatever interesting markets and events that they wanted to take a position on. That's it. The most important thing I think people will know is that very different from a traditional Web2 prediction market, they don't need the hassle of deposit and withdrawal, because everything's on chain. It's their own wallet. It's their own money. I just tested out the products like ins and out in like 1 second. So it gives users really the freedom to go anywhere, engage with any positions very, very quickly, without any restrictions. And that's exactly the benefit to do this on chain. And potentially in the wallet, because they don't even need to connect to wallet anymore. Everything is settled for them.
So, Trust Wallet has done quite a few launches recently with Meme Rush and Perps. How does the integration of prediction markets reflect its ongoing evolution and its future direction?
How I see it's a bigger question about how we see what users want. We see that the future economy is moving on chain. And if it's on chain, what's the role for wallet to be? Is that we wanted to be the great companion and the access to help people to thrive in that on-chain economy world. So as the industry developed, we started to see that a lot of those economic components are moving on chain. It might be first started from storage, right? Here's where the self-custody come into play. Then remittance, send and receive transactions with blockchain on chain. That's why Wallet supported it, and then we're very important to do so. And then swaps happened, DEX happening, new liquidity markets happened. That's what people wanted to do there. So because of the industries having new utilities and value propositions to provide, to justify that the on-chain decentralized economy is having a lot more value, our job is to making sure that how do we present that effectively, easily, and confidently to users. So as it's more than just spot market, as we know, hyperliquid and then asters and all those perps wars are happening for the past few months. Users are actually using that in a way that might be complementary or better to the centralized exchanges. That's why we also want to allow that value and access to be presented to users in an easier way. Prediction market, as I said, is our stance to believe that it's more than just the trading component. It is a new way of combining social expression with digital footprint and value. I'm willing to put a stake on the ground to express that, and then that's the opportunity, and that's something really interesting and fun and exciting to do. And then same thing, we wanted to make that available to users so that they can grow together in their on-chain journeys with Trust Wallet. And we hope to do that in a secure way, easy way, and faithful way, ultimately for people to feel that they are not falling behind with the future of the technology, and then they can be at the forefront and do that easily on the palm of their hand.
So, what's next on the prediction markets roadmap for Trust Wallet?
I think just like any other good platform is that we wanted to make sure both the user experiences is well, and as well as the content itself are interesting enough that people wanted to engage in. So you will see an evolution. I was just going through with the product team and be like, what's the next phase of iteration for the product user delight and the experiences needs to happen? That takes stages. So we'll evolve over there. But more importantly is that we will keep our eyes open to see, so what are people's interests really are? Are the markets and the content being presented interesting enough? How to give that feedback loop to the events content creator, or potentially there are other more exciting events content creators out there that they wanted to get access to the platforms. So this is part of the continuous enrichment of the product's attractiveness to users. So we will see, right? This is a new thing. And even though it's old for 20 years, people have been doing prediction market, but it's always new as the world is evolving, culture is changing, people's positions are changing. Then we have to make sure that we're faithfully reflecting what the environment is.
And with that in mind, how do you see the prediction market space evolving in the short and long term, say next year, 5 years?
One of the interesting narratives or a vision that I heard is prediction market and social media might at some point just blurred. Um, because if we blur the line of social is social, finance is finance, I think prediction market is probably at a very interesting intersection between these two. That maybe finance and expressions, freedom money and freedom of speech are really very much intertwined. Then it creates a new kind of again social expression and assets expression in the world. To do so, we need to allow that whole flow really seamless. I think crypto hasn't necessarily done social very well to find the value proposition and product market fit yet with all the experiment that we have so far. But prediction market may be a um, beachhead or a segue to kind of experiment into a new format of actually much tighter tie to finance, but ultimately the value to people is the social value. To find expression, to find resonance, to find a community in the way that they can also take positions on.
Prediction markets obviously have been making headlines over the last year or so, but they do remain somewhat of a niche concern. What do you think it's going to take for them to gain mainstream traction?
I think user experiences are one thing. Of course, within that user experiences, we have to respect all the regulations around the world. If there are different countries, jurisdictions might take a different positions on what these things mean. They may or may not help or prevent people from trying this out. But in places where I think there are more freedom to experiment, then the whole idea is that allow the seamless user experiences and allow very interesting, unique content that can be expressed or can be taking positions on in a very efficient and effective or even fun way, much more fun way than traditional betting market or prediction markets or events things at all. So I think the best product market fit is always that there is already existing model that works, but because of the technological benefits, because of the operational or global access benefits, it can evolve into a next generation. And that's potentially crypto and on-chain prediction market can play with. Then on top of the earlier traditional prediction market off-chain that we have.
Looking beyond prediction markets for a second, what else is coming up on the Trust Wallet roadmap?
One thing that we have been really scratching our head and trying to do a lot better, there were two parts. The first part is I tell the team we should kill the problem statement that what is the blocker for mass adoption because of the whatever user experiences problem statement. Since I took the job for 3 years, that has always been a question that I get asked all the time. I think we're at a technological and protocol standard perspective that we can move away from it in a year or two. So the first thing to focus on that I tell the team is we want to achieve Web2 UX and Web3 tech. And that means people don't no longer need to worry about this is a blockchain technology underneath there. Then the user experiences are on par and even better because of the efficiency and speed that blockchain can provide. Then we're gonna move on to probably gonna take out the fintech product apps. So we already have a huge amount of user base that they are not allowed on crypto trader at all, but there are like tens of billions of USD stablecoin. Just use it for everyday finance purposes through Trust Wallet. And how can we serve that user needs better and truly achieve that? Originally we thought a crypto can be a great payment scenario, can truly be doing 10x better than banks, traditional banks for a consumer product. So one of the key focuses we wanted to do is how can we truly build a long-term sustainable everyday finance scenarios with our product after the wallet clunkiness and blockchain tech as a Web3 technology is no longer the barrier that we really got to focusing on. Where's the 10x opportunity to make things cheaper for users and faster for users and more revenue or more savings and controls that people can have in their financial lives. So you will be expecting in 2026 and beyond to see us experimenting a lot of those areas and trying to truly push us again to the mass adoption in the way that goes beyond just speculation is what we hope on.
In the current volatile crypto market, how can companies best position themselves to address the current situation?
I think in this kind of fluctuating market, project and businesses are thinking about how to navigate through fluctuating market time. I think these are sometimes the golden opportunity moments for businesses to transition away from a hype and narrative driven, bull market mindset to go back to some of the fundamentals and thinking about what's the value that I'm contributing and to users or to partners as a way that I can get business model out of it. So we probably will see another rounds of companies over leveraged dying. But then for the ones that are able to stay long term, patient, perseverance, and finding and really be persistent on finding fundamental values that can contribute to the users will hopefully, I really hope that in the next few months or a year that we get to see another round of boom like the DeFi summer innovation model that we can have 3 or 4 years ago.
Sounds like there's a lot to look forward to. Where can people find out more about yourself and Trust Wallet?
I have to admit that I didn't do a very good job recently on X.com because I've been focusing a lot on getting the things done with the internal teams. But after the current stage of the business gets subsidized a little bit, I will try to engage more on X and then putting out certain thoughts and then also observing and learning from people. So, but our teams have been doing a great job representing our company, what we have been doing, and then getting feedback as well. So please share and engage with us on X, and we'll love to hear from you and get any of the feedback and suggestions and how we can do better for the industry.
Fantastic. Eowyn, thanks very much.
No problem. Thanks, Dylan.